Hi, everyone. Welcome to Spirit Switchboard. I am your host, Kerrilynn Shellhorn, and you are listening to us live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 and 107.7. Thanks for joining me here today. And we're just going to jump right into it because I know that there's going to be a lot to talk about today. So on today's show, we have Paul and Angela Johnston. They are researchers and investigators. They look into the paranormal activity across the United States in homes, businesses, deep backwood country, which I have got some questions about that. Oh yeah, lots of questions. So ghosts, Bigfoot, Dogman, you name it, they're looking for it. And you may know them from their podcast, Ghost Talk Haunted Locations, or their YouTube series, History and Hauntings. So please welcome to the show, Paul and Angie. Do you want to be called Angie?
You can call me whatever.
That's so funny. So like I have 4 kids and I am so used to, I mean, my oldest is 30 now and my baby is almost 19, but mom. Yeah, you could call me KL, Kerrilynn, Carrie, but mom. You just get to the point where you answer to any of it, right?
Yes, exactly. Definitely.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on the show. I was watching, I'll tell you the clip that I saw, and then it was really like, I really hope that you guys will say yes and come on. It was the clip, Paul, with you getting your ear tugged.
Oh, yeah.
And then listening to Angela laughing is what, like, I'm like, let's watch this again 10 times.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what it was I normally don't get startled during investigations. And being touched, and my reaction, I think, caught her off guard, and she just couldn't stop laughing.
I have a whole folder of "Don't put that on the internet" from him.
That could be its own series.
Right.
That's what I said. I was like, but that's great stuff. And he's like, nope, that's our little secret. That's going to be between us.
I don't know. You know, sometimes those secrets don't stay secret for very long at all.
He asked me not to say it. I won't say it.
We're just going to do.
Let's just have some stuff just us.
Just
you
us,
know, like
right.
just
our
us,
moments.
You know, our moments, you know, and I'm down for that. So
yeah,
you know, and I 100% of us.
You must need that too, though. I mean, you're doing these adventures, so you're traveling and you're working and you're creating content, and just creating content is stressful in itself, and then adding in investigations, which can be emotional and physically exhausting. Like there's so many aspects to what you guys do that it's really a joy watching those videos and seeing how you interact and support each other in those as well too. Like, I don't know. I'm sure that you have your bicker moments too, just like a regular couple, but I mean that the support is there.
Yeah, like it's like we share like half a brain cell each.
Oh, that's lovely. I just love that. I'm just going to do a couple of hellos here to people that are tuning in and watching with us. So hello, Wiz. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Hi, Contessa. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, Joanna. Thanks for watching, Julie. Thank you for being here. Hi, Donna Jean. Thanks for being here. For those people who are just getting to meet you tonight, can you give us a little bit of your background? Like, if the paranormal was always part of your journey, if it's something that you got into more together?
So we have only been together for 3 years now in January. Before that, we were both in a long-term marriage, and we both got into the paranormal while we were with our other partner. Our other partner did not like the paranormal at all. You know, with me, I actually started I put a team together because my ex-husband was having night terrors where he'd wake up screaming, and he would always say that, you know, there was this shadow guy at the foot of our bed. And so I got into it to do more research on shadow people. And the more I got into it, the more I was enjoying it. And so like I just made a team with a bunch of people I worked with and rolled with it, just went full blast.
Right.
For Paul, he's been in it way longer than I have.
Yeah, I got into it probably around 2000. I'd say 99, 2000.
Right.
It was me and my brother and a good friend of ours. Basically, look for something to do on the weekends, and being from New Orleans, there was plenty of haunted places to go to.
Right.
And we got a hold of the, I believe it was Victor Klein series. He wrote many books about hauntings in New Orleans.
Right.
So we picked up the first edition, started going through the pages and started hitting these places. And I was hooked into that. Yeah.
That's awesome. I know my friend and I, when we go out, we've actually used like a geocaching app before, because like some of those geocaching apps, they look for those obscure places. So we were actually looking for like the older pioneer cemeteries, and we found so many through a geocaching app. Like if you're finding any of those resources and starting off local is a great way, right? Like
absolutely.
Knowing what's in your back door and then going from there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's one thing that we really enjoy too, is like we like finding the little hidden treasure places,
Right.
At first, I was all about the big places, going to Waverly Hills, Brushy Mountain State Prison, like all the big ones. And then now it's like we're hitting all these little places, and we're finding that these are really the little diamond in the rough, because the spirits in these places have not been communicated with every person like that's into the paranormal, so it's new to them. So we're trying to reach out to them, and they're trying to reach out to us. And it's newer for them.
Right. They have their own story to tell. And everybody goes to the big places, and these small places, these spirits, they were people once too that are trapped. Or not trapped, but in limbo.
Yeah.
The way we see it. And they want to talk to somebody. They want to communicate too. And most of the time we find the smaller places are more active than the bigger places.
I agree with you. And I feel it's our intention and why we do this, and the energy that we're bringing to those places, that maybe a comfort level for those spirits to want to communicate or open up with us. And if you continue to go to those places, it's like building a friendship with them almost, right? Like,
yes, absolutely. And I like what you just said about, like what you bring into a place. I 100% agree with that, because so many times people are going into locations and yelling, oh, it's a demon, and yelling at the spirits, and we watch YouTube channel after YouTube channel of people doing that. Like, they have forgotten who they're talking to. These are human beings that have passed away. These are people's relatives. These are ancestors. And they're just going in there, disrespecting the location, disrespecting these people. And like, that's just a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah, that was actually something that I had wrote down to talk to you guys about, because that respect level, even if you were like deep woods backpacking, if you are camping, there is like unspoken etiquette as well too, right? And
absolutely.
Right.
You respect nature.
Yeah, like you have to respect nature. Leave the area better than where what you came into. Like I'm big against littering, and just taking care of nature. Being like you say, don't
go in too close to buffalo, right?
Yeah, like let them have their space. Don't listen to Angela and run up to them.
That was the first time one of our expeditions. A buffalo was in the field, and she's like, "Got to get closer. You got to get closer. You got to get a good picture." I said, "I'm only going to get a little bit closer. I want to stay close to safety."
Yeah. But he did get a great picture of the buffalo pooping.
Yep, he was pooping at the time.
Oh, that's funny. Those are great stories, right?
Yeah.
We're just going to say hello to some more people. So you have Shane Miller here supporting you guys, saying these guys are the best.
Yeah.
Hi, Corey. Thank you for being here. Hello, Michelle. Thank you for being here. Oh, that's fun, Tanya. I hope you guys have a good night doing your tour at Castle Kilbride. Hello, Siobhan. Thank you for being here. Rose, sorry. And when you're backpacking, like when you guys go deep woods backpacking, it is about knowing the land and respecting the land that you're on. And it's also, I was taught that you leave wood for the next people that come in case they get there late and they're tired as well too. So you're having to respect the people that are coming after you as well too. So I think about that when you're going like on locations as well too.
A lot of the places we go like the deep woods, though. There's nobody coming after.
Right, there's nobody.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
We go
like, way into the woods. We're like
that's fun.
At least a mile in from civilization. When we go pretty far in.
Yeah, it's
just because same thing with like ghost hunting. You don't want the contamination, so we get as far away from civilization as possible, just so we don't have contamination with our investigations.
Right.
But I mean, I know a lot of Bigfoot sightings are by main roads and hiking trails. So, I don't, put down anybody that just does that, takes the trail and looking for Bigfoot. But we do like to take it into the deeper parts of the woods and the national forest.
Something uncharted. You're looking for bedding where they bed down. You're looking for tracks where they cross streams. You're not going to find that where you got a lot of people, because just the movement of people wipe away all the tracks. So
I mean, and not only that, but you also, if you do get a print, if it's somewhere that nobody is walking, it's a bigger deal than if you get a size 14 footprint, over there on a trail. I mean, Paul wears 14.
Right.
So it's not as big of a deal as people put it out, because he's not, they have to choose up to 18. Right. So I mean, they do have big-footed people. So I mean, if you find that in the middle of nowhere where people are not charting, then it's a different story than if you find that in a state park or on a nature trail.
Right. So have you Angie, was that something that you had done prior, or is adding those backpacking, investigations, deep woods, something that happened when you got together with Paul?
It was during the time that we were friends, and I had just left my ex-husband. I moved in with my dad, and my dad, I really didn't have a true relationship with my dad until after my divorce, and I moved in with him, and that's when I really got to know my dad. He is actually a Bigfoot hunter. Like, he spent my whole childhood not being a dad, but running after Bigfoot, dragging my little brothers. My brothers had to sleep in tents for months at a time. He's like, well, you kind of got lucky. I didn't drag you. I was like, yeah, but I was the one kid that probably would have enjoyed that. The other ones didn't like it. But, so I actually, got to spend a lot of time with my dad while I was living with him and talking about his stories and his adventures. And he's the one that made me think, okay, well, maybe Bigfoot is possible, because I was into ghosts, but Bigfoot was just any kind of, I mean, I even was looking for Dogman in the Rougarou. But I really was like, I don't know about Bigfoot. There's a lot of sightings, but I don't know. But listening to my dad's stories of the ones he saw, and then starting to join groups and listening to other stories. But it wasn't until we ended up going out west. We went camping for 4 months straight out west, and, to different locations. And one of the locations we went to was the Medicine Bow National Forest. And
where's that?
That's in Wyoming.
It's Wyoming, and then it goes into northern Colorado.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So we have listeners from that are international from all over the place, and I'm from outside Toronto, Ontario, so I don't know where some of these places are.
Oh,
so thank you so much for telling us. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're in Wyoming in the national forest, and it's like super thick, and we're just going over these big mountain hills, and we're looking at all these you could, it's millions and millions of acres of uncharted area. So we were like, I think Bigfoot's real.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we decided to camp there and we've heard tree knocks.
We've heard howls.
We've heard, howls we couldn't explain. We've seen tree structures that have been folded into each other.
We've had people bring us fur.
Yeah, we've had Squash Man from Indiana and let us have some of the hair that he thought was Bigfoot's hair that we checked out. Yeah, and it's just we just really enjoy probably the Sasquatching more than actually even ghost hunting sometimes.
Yeah, there's more of a thrill.
Yeah, you get to be out in nature.
You get to be out in nature. You get to smell the smells, hear the sounds, and it's I don't know, it's more satisfying.
Do you feel the longer you can be out, the more maybe acclimated a Sasquatch would be towards you and wanting to, like, curious of you and wanting to make a contact in some way?
Possible. We spent a lot of time in Silverton, Colorado, which is South Colorado, which is it's all mountains. I mean, you get down there, there's actually a pass called $1 Million Highway that just goes through the mountains.
Right.
And Silverton sits down in the valley, and we spent 2 weeks in Silverton. We spent 2 weeks in Silverton, and you hear the sounds, you know, the tree knocking, the howls. We never were approached by Bigfoot, so I don't know. Maybe we stayed a couple months, maybe. I mean, I would say, like, people, you see people in Alaska, people up in Montana, that live there. They have their interactions with Bigfoot. So if we were, I could see that. I could see if you're there for a long period, like maybe years, where they get acclimated. I just believe they're skittish creatures. They know mankind. They know what we're capable of. Well,
and wouldn't they? The word that I kept thinking about you guys today too, when I was, thinking about the segment coming up, was nomad. Like you guys kind of go all over the place, and that's why I kept thinking about you guys are like these paranormal nomads.
Yeah, before me and Paul became official, when we were just friends, because we actually, like I said, we met 3 years ago, but we went on a date and we had a really good time. And then he says it's the second date, but I'm pretty sure it was the first date. I
caught feelings, and she pushed me back into the friend zone.
He sent me this super long text message saying how he has all these feelings for me, and I'm like, whoa, dude, whoa.
We're just friends.
So come on, that's some emotional intelligence there that needs to be appreciated.
Yeah. So I didn't appreciate him at first. We're now friends. I'm friend zoning you. I still want to hang out with you. And we went to dinner twice a week, but we paid Dutch, so I would not let him pay for me. and we just became best friends in the next 6 months. And then one day he went to the graveyard with me. I was doing voodoo dolls. And we got some dirt from the graveyards and moss from the trees in New Orleans, and we're sitting there making voodoo dolls. And I look over at him, and I'm like, man, I'm falling in love with this man. and so
just like with ghost hunting and paranormal investigations, you have to have a lot of patience. Paul, you needed to have the patience and look at the long-term game and just ride it out, right?
Yeah, I enjoyed her company, and that was awesome. It. I just liked being around her.
Yeah.
She came around.
Yeah.
Came to her sense.
I came around.
It's a great story. It's a great part of your journey and that adventure, right? The adventure story of you guys and what you're doing now is great.
For that 6 months, I was planning on leaving. I think I was going to leave in September. I had a career, I was making really good money. I was ready I threw it all away because I was going to go do van life. I had my van decked out. I was ready to go. And, I was on the road, and he said he was going to meet me. Well, I ended up leaving 3 months earlier. Mm-hmm. And so he said he was going to meet me in September. Well, I made it, because we're in New Orleans and Louisiana now. And I made it to Colorado, spent 2 weeks in Colorado over in Pueblo. And then I went up to Cheyenne, Wyoming, and then I caught him. I was like, you need to come now.
My van's not working right now.
I need you to come now. I can't even drive this thing.
I'm a mechanic by trade.
Gotcha.
So I'm her mechanic. So you need to come down.
It just works. The skill sets blend and balance each other out. It's awesome.
So he quits his job, packs everything he owns in his van, and he don't even make it out of Louis. No, right outside. You got
Texas.
The Texas border,
and totaled the van.
And some car hit him, totaled the van. So he calls me up, and I'm like, "So you're gonna be late?"
I said, "No, I just got to find a rental car."
But no, and we had a dog named Chunk, and Chunk was sitting on
my shoulder.
Tell her how like Chunk was.
He was on my shoulder.
He was a little dog.
He was a little chihuahua. He was in the seat. He got hit. I spun out. I look. He's on my shoulder like a parrot, like he's shaking. And
nobody got hurt, but
well, I got hurt. I got a little glass in my arm, and they.
Okay, he got hurt. It's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and your Chihuahua was safe. Chunk was safe.
Chunk is absolutely good. Chunk
safe.
is perfect. But
Chihuahuas are the best. I have a Chihuahua pug. Her name is Nora.
He's a Chihuahua Min Pin mix, so he's really super cute.
Oh, fun! My Nora is a potato.
We had to let one of my best friends adopt him because of the fact that we travel so much, and he started getting arthritis. So it was just when we backpacked, he just couldn't keep up anymore. And she had 3 female dogs, so he just hit the jackpot.
Right.
Rose was just asking. I just want to make sure, Rose, that we're asking in the right. So she's asking, do you guys deal with the paranormal? So I'm not sure, Rose, maybe you can clarify if you mean help people out with their hauntings if they feel like they have a haunted house, or if you're asking about the investigations.
Yeah, we do paranormal investigations, but we really don't do home investigations.
Right. Or if we do, we don't help spirits cross over.
Okay.
We believe that they're there for a reason. If somebody asks for help, we can point them in the right direction, like a psychic medium or somebody. But we don't have the gifts to cross them over.
I mean, we can go burn sage in somebody's house and do a cleansing, but in our beliefs, that spirit is just, once the energy builds back up, it's just going to come back. So.
Yeah.
So that,
you don't know what somebody's doing in the house or the things that they're bringing in, or like on a daily, like there's other factors that play into why those things are happening in a house too, right?
Yeah. I definitely think like attachments and like spiritual parasites get on people, and and sometimes they'll bounce off and go away. But I just think, we don't have the ability to help them. So we don't do, unless it's going in there and saying, hey, we're going to check your ghost out and talk to them, then it's not anything going to be, we're not going to cleanse their house. I mean,
we're looking for evidence. We're looking for things we can bring people and say, hey, this exists. Yeah. We're looking for positivities of evidence. So whatever's going on in somebody's house, we can help them prove that they're not crazy. How people say all the time, oh, I think I'm going crazy. Well, we can come in there and say, hey, look, we're experiencing the same stuff. You're not going crazy. Here's what we've caught. Here's the proof.
Yeah. Are you really pulled to those historical places? I love architecture and historical places and property land that has a lot of history and stories attached to it.
I'm going mainly to plantation homes. For some reason, I guess growing up down south is I feel at home. I guess you can say like very comfortable in a plantation. So we do some plantations. I think you do better in like Victorian houses. She's more drawn to places like that.
Do you feel locations can call to us? Do you think that they can almost summon us on an energetic level?
I believe so, and I think a lot of it is imprinted in our genetics. Not necessarily reincarnation. I know Angie believes in reincarnation. I believe in information being transferred through your genetics. So if, say, your great grandmother and her family lived in a Victorian home per se, that is a genetic imprint into you. So when you go to these places, you can feel that comfortableness in that
Right.
location. And being from the South, my family's from the South, you know, we've been on plantations. So I think that's why I'm drawn to plantations, is because it's just in my genes. It's imprinted in me.
And do you feel, have you been to locations where it's really felt strong, like that more than other places? Is there one location that has had that very strong connection for you?
I don't find for me that one over another had a really strong connection. I've gone to places where one time I'll go and I've had like extreme paranormal activity, and another time I'll go and it's just silent. So, I mean, as far as any connection to me, no, I haven't felt that. I mean, you said the Myrtles Plantation for you.
Yeah, when I first started going to the Myrtles Plantation, I felt like a strong draw to it, like a friendliness, almost like a at-home kind of feel.
Right.
But I actually get that in the cemeteries in New Orleans too, you know. So it's not. I think it's more of the souls or the spirits that inhabit the place. I think because I'm more of a path, so I can kind of feel on the comfortability. And I know, like when we go on investigations, it's the younger spirits are more attracted to me. Like I'll get more interaction with the children.
Okay.
Tugged, I'll get, you know, stuff like that. I get my shirt untucked. I get Myrtles, my shirt got untucked, and it's always
my hair sticking.
And they play with my hairs. So
you have a short clip about the hair on your arms going up on the site, and is it the theater? Could you?
It was at Victorian. It was Oksana Victorian.
Yeah, it's actually on our first episode of History and Haunting, the History and Haunting of the Oksana Victorian. And we have it on there too.
Yeah. But you have a short clip of a small spirit that goes really fast behind those chairs. And I thought that was at the theater too. Like
that's at the theater.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I watched that one about 10 times today too.
Yeah, that had said, come check this out. And I'm like, oh no, it's probably just a flashlight. And then like as we're looking at it and we slow it down, you could actually see the arms and the legs.
And you can see it ducked behind the chair.
Yeah. And
but we matched it up, and we did a good job. And we do evidence. We don't post anything.
Yeah, and
that we can just explain away. So we have different cameras set up, especially with that one. We had 3 cameras set up. That was only caught on one camera. The other camera was set on us, and we were setting up to go live at the time.
So I mean, you know, when we were looking at that one, I thought maybe it was the flashlight, but I mean, when you slow it down, you can tell it's not any kind of light. It's just a little figure running. And tonight we're actually premiering at 7. Our
second trip. That was
our second time to the theater,
right.
And so we one of the people we went with caught an apparition on that one too.
Yeah,
so that'll be shown tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's awesome.
Same
and
place.
That's the History and Haunting series on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time tonight, that is airing. So
it's going to be premiering.
Yeah, premiering.
Yeah, that's awesome. Just going to put these up. Hi, Janet. Thanks for being here tonight. I don't ever not see spirit. I'm with you on that. Having had this ability since I was little.
Yeah. I don't know, which is worse, being in the paranormal field and not being able to see them, or having to see them all the time.
But you know what? I think it's just is what it is for each of us, right? And I mean, I feel that people that do paranormal investigations for any length of time, your intuitive sixth sense kicks in. Like you'll know when an energy, no different than if you walk into a room where somebody's been fighting, when they've been arguing, it feels heavy in the air and you just know you've walked into something, right? So when you're, I think that our intuitive abilities strengthen the more that we do paranormal investigations. I can't, or I shouldn't speak for you, but you can, chime in on your thoughts.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. And like we'll stop to go do Bigfooting or something else, and then like it'll calm down, and we get back into it again, and then the activity at our own house will start picking back up. They start getting more curious about us again. So it's kind of weird. It's like it goes quiet and then it picks back up when we start getting like we've done 3 investigations this year so far, and then 1 in December, and then 1 right before that. And before that, we were doing a lot of farming, like we were doing homesteading for a little while, and into that because we do a lot of different things.
Yeah, we're into a lot of things.
and so, you know, like my chickens and my vegetables got most of our attention, and we didn't travel as much while we were saving up money and equipment and stuff, because all that's expensive, you know.
It is.
It really is.
And you have to have like I talk about this a lot. When you decide to do paranormal investigations, you have to have a real passion for it. It's a time investment. It's a financial investment. Energetically and physically, you're putting yourself in a you know, potentially vulnerable position as well too. Like there's a lot to it, and it is not as glamorous as what some shows may make it out to be. Like you're just kind of sitting around for a long time. It's without stuff.
8 hours for maybe 30 seconds of evidence.
It's nothing like what TV shows, and that's why when we do ours, we share a lot of the history, because what we do is not exciting. You know, we can't just sell that. You know, we can't just share, hey, look at this investigation while we sit around talking to ourselves all night.
Yeah. These are the snacks and the third coffee run that we've just done.
And then after, people, you know, people who've never been on an investigation, they don't understand the day after. Well, I call it the investigator's hangover. So you have the next day and you feel so drained. You get a headache. It's like being hungover.
Yeah, it's like you've got severe dehydration.
Mm-hmm.
I do this thing called a morning porch post every day, and with my coffee, just a thought for the day. And this week, one of the posts that I made was, okay, today is like the speed of sloth, and I am having a psychic hangover. And yesterday's session knocked me on my butt. It's like, I don't think that people are necessarily aware of that, but it is a thing. A psychic hangover is a thing.
Yeah. And you know, even without abilities, if you're dealing with spirits all night, they're going to drain you. You know, they pull in energy from every direction they can. They drain your batteries and your equipment. They drain the batteries in your body. You know,
I get excited though when the batteries drain on equipment. I'm like, "Ooh, here we go."
It was kind of aggravating for us in the last one, because
when you're trying to film, it's really frustrating.
I kept having to run and switch batteries 4 times that night.
Yeah, it was really, at the theater, it was really bad. And I'm like, "Are you leaving again?" He's like, "Well, the batteries are dead again." I'm like, "Well, maybe we should just stop filming."
But that's part of the evidence, right? Like that's part of the evidence. And to me, sometimes I think it's the build up before something's about to happen, you know? Like
definitely.
We'll see what happens. So Grar is just asking, do you think that a person's aura or colors attract spirits?
You know, that's possible. I had an aura reading back probably 20 years ago. We had gone to a psychic in New Orleans. And basically, you put your hands on this device and it gives you an aura. I didn't know auras existed until I saw that. And she had pictures of different people on the wall. Some were red, some were purple, some were white. I think mine was like a light purple, whitish white purple was mine. But yeah, I mean, if we can see in different, like we can see, you know, ultraviolet, or we can see, you know, different shades of light, and there's some light we can't see, like infrared, we can't see with our physical eyes, but who's to say a spirit can? You know, what is your aura to begin with? I mean, is the aura energy? Is it light? You know, what
it's energy that spills out from like energy centers inside that spills out from your physical body into that space.
And I would say 100%, like if you're bringing a good energy into a building, you're going to have a better results with the spirits, versus if you're like in a bad mood and grumpy. because you are dealing with people. They're human beings that have passed away.
Yeah.
So they had their own personalities too. You know, they
had empathy and sympathy and everything else.
Like,
so
you go in there acting like a jerk, they're probably going to be a jerk back. If you come into my house and you start yelling at me or treating me poorly, I'll push you down the stairs too. So yeah, I mean, I just think that people don't have the right respect for spirits.
Well, yeah, to answer the question, I believe it's possible that spirits can see your
Spirit medium Daniel is just commenting they are attracted to the soul. They come to those who have a brighter soul, someone they know they can communicate with.
Yeah. I would agree.
And I think it has something to do with like different people can see on different levels of sight and hearing. Like a certain amount of hertz for in your vision, certain amount. And I think people can see spirits. They just have like a broader sense of that, where they can see more than what the average person can see.
Sure, it's kind of like a dog whistle.
Yeah,
a dog can hear the whistle.
I agree.
But I think certain people can pick up on what other people can't, because like I know when doing the test, on high pitch, I can't hear it at all. Low pitch, I can hear it really good, but I don't hear spirits. So I don't know if it's, would be the opposite. Maybe they speak on the higher spectrum.
Mm-hmm. And when I'm teaching people about all this stuff, I always encourage like it's inside eye, outside eye, inside ear, and outside ear, because sometimes you're picking it up on the inside, right? So it's
definitely
using the senses in different ways, and sometimes that high pitched ringing sound isn't really tinnitus. Sometimes it is those spirits just coming from a higher vibration, right? So you can ask them to tone it down and step back and ask them to show you in a way what their message is in a way that you'll understand. So,
that makes sense.
If they're wanting to show you, I think it's learning how to do the dance with them to meet them in the best way that they want to show you, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't see them, so I'm not sure, but I'll definitely try that.
Yeah. Well, you guys do a great job getting evidence, though. I mean, you certainly approach it in such a comfortable way for them to want to connect with you.
We treat them. We want to be treated if we were crossed over.
We definitely are getting spirits that want to communicate with us. And with the evidence review, Paul sits there for hours and hours, and like a lot of people skip that step, but doing evidence review, he would sit there for hours and hours and hours going through. We have 7 cameras, right? 7? Yeah. More than that, maybe.
We have more than that. No, we have 5 at the time.
Now we have 7. No, we have 7 because of the 2. Yeah.
Oh, that's right, the 2 new. Yeah.
So we have 7 cameras. We have 3 voice recorders. Like, there's a lot to go through, and you're talking about like we're there for 2 days. That's a lot of hours he has to go through. And like you said, you might only get 30 minutes of it, but that 30 minutes, like when you catch that spirit that's running through the hallway, that's a big deal,
Yeah. And it's that gold nugget that's like, okay, I guess we're going to do this again. Like, it was worth it when
Yeah.
Definitely. Do you guys tend to do investigations on your own, or do you have a team of people? That was something that I noticed with you guys with the para unity. Like, you guys seem to pop in with a lot of different people. Could you talk about that?
Sure. Yeah, we do. We like to involve people that are like-minded. We have a lot of good friends in the paranormal community that we just like hanging out with. And there's people that
matters.
Yeah, exactly. A good chemistry matters, especially when you're going into an investigation. We're picky, but not picky when we do investigations, meaning that if you're known for being troublemaker, I guess you can say, or loud and obnoxious, we won't entertain you. But that's few and far between in the community. We find a lot of people that we interact with are the same as us. They're cool, calm, collective. They're just looking for what we're looking for. We're looking for truth and evidence. But also we like
we were going to these huge places, and these huge places want between like $1,200 and $2,000 a night. So you really have to divide that with people. We can't just chuck out $2,000 and say, yeah, let's go investigate by ourselves. I mean, we'll keep it under 500 by ourselves, but anything over, we'll bring in a couple or two.
Mm-hmm.
So we try to.
But everybody that we come in contact with and come with us, it's just like we become good friends.
We've met a lot of good people. And we did a Para-Unity event last year with Tim Coomer and George Schopplein, Kara Schopplein, at the old
it was the Harriman, historic
Harriman Hospital in
That's
Tennessee. Yeah, so we did a Para-Unity. Everything that we made, we gave it back to the hospital. We ate, other than the pizza that we bought. So we just did it, just a Para-Unity, and everybody had a great time. It was a lot of people there, but not one person wasn't smiling. Not one person didn't catch something. Not one person said they had a bad time. It was good energy. It was nice, uplifting, positive energy. Everybody was like, man, that was such a great time. Are you going to do it again next year? But, we decided we weren't going to do it again next year because it's a lot of money out of our pockets.
Yeah. But we include as many people, as we want. I guess you can say, the smaller venues, we want the least amount of people for contamination purposes. We are Para-Unity, all about Para-Unity, but we're also about catching evidence. And proving that the afterlife exists. So,
and I find, which may sound super selfish on my part too, I'm taking time. I don't get a lot of time off. I personally don't have a lot of days off. So on my days off, I still want to do that, but I'm doing it for my own, enjoyment, my own passion. And so I'm super careful about who I want to spend that time with, and that I want to have that positive experience and balance out, what I bring to the table and what other people bring to the table. So, I mean, I know that may sound kind of
not at all. We had to do that recently. We had an invite for it was campfire with some friends of ours up in Kentucky.
Yeah.
And we had to cancel. We had to decline because I only get so many days off, and we had an opportunity to go Bigfoot in that same weekend. So it's kind of like, we can see our friends again. How many times are you going to see, catch Bigfoot? How many times are you going to get this opportunity? So, we told them, hey, we're going to be up there. We plan on coming, just not at that time. So like you said, it's being selfish, but at the same time, you have days off that you have to prioritize what you're going to use them for.
And then you got to fit in family time on top of that, because like we talked about, we have 6 children between us both. He has 2 sons. I have a son and 3 daughters. I have 6 grandkids that we share. So I mean, it takes a lot. Like we got to go. My son is about to move to Washington from California, so we're gonna fly up there for a week and go visit for a week. And hopefully he's down with going to look for Bigfoot while I'm up there. But
God. Where's Grar? Where's the whiz? He's in Washington. So he talks about Sasquatch, where he lives up in his area in Washington as well, too.
You're trying to get up into Olympia State Park.
Yeah. When they said they were moving up there, I was like, oh, yeah, we're
definitely
coming to visit.
Well,
it's always right there at the forefront, no matter what, right? Like...
Yeah, but
the paranormal. But
I'm just hoping out of the 6 grandkids, one of them following my footsteps, man. They're not looking at they don't seem it. I'm thinking maybe the baby.
Thank you very much, Ed. Thanks for being here. So Ed is also has a network called the Rift Nation, and he has an online podcast called The Orion Effect on Sunday evenings as well too. So thanks for doing the shout out. Oh,
Ian.
Thank you.
Uh-oh.
There you go.
We're down.
There's your open invitation.
Yeah, we definitely. I mean, because there's a big difference between the Bigfoot community and the paranormal community. The paranormal wants to talk about it. They want to talk about every experience they ever had. The Bigfoot is more hush hush. They don't want to share their evidence. They don't want to share their locations,
especially locations. It's like pulling teeth. It's like, yeah, I saw Bigfoot where. Tell us where. We want to know. Nope.
Right. I grew up in Northern Ontario, along Lake Superior, Northern Ontario, and there's a lot of sightings up in that area as well too. A lot of high strangeness in that area, and that's how I grew up too. My dad gives me a hard time. I'm like, I said it would be fascinating to see a Bigfoot, and he's like, really? And he said, do you want to die by an angry Sasquatch? And I'm like, it would be an epic death, Dad. It would just be epic.
Our last Bigfoot expedition, we heard noises, and she says, we just got to go investigate. And I said, one of these days, Bigfoot's going to grab me and tear me to shreds. And she goes, as long as we catch it on camera, it'll be worth
it. Great. As long as there's batteries are not dead, we're good. Exactly. Edison, he'll talk your ear off. Bigfoot and Bigfoot sightings, UFO stuff as well too. I had.
Yeah, and then there's like the two different communities with Bigfoot too. Like,
you believe that too, interdimensional.
I like whenever I first started with my dad and was telling my dad, okay, maybe he is real, maybe he's interdimensional, because I do believe in fairies and I do believe in the different realms. Yeah. And I was like, well, maybe he's part of that world. And that's when my dad's like, no. He's like, no, he's flesh and blood and he'll eat you. Yeah. My dad's had run-ins with him. And
I don't know where I sit, which I think maybe just not having, maybe needing more experiences for me to, I'm open-minded about the whole thing about Bigfoot being interdimensional, but I don't know. I just kind of lean more to an indigenous belief system as well too, that it's they don't like humans and are very good at hide and seek and travel to follow their food sources and watch us and are very stealth-like, right? So I kind of lean in that direction.
But I wouldn't rule it out. I mean, interdimensional would make a lot of sense as to be why there's so many sightings but not evidence.
Maybe I don't know. But then there's that argument about underground tunnels and cave systems, and
then you get into something. Then you're on my level where you start talking about the reptilians and stuff like that. That's more my realm.
Let's chat.
Yeah,
let's chat about it. Like, and that's part of all of it, right? Is just having a sense of wonder, being open-minded to any of those potentials, right? Ed is chiming in with the reptilians and asking about
it. Sure. You see, my theory of reptilians, they keep saying the reptilians. Before there was mammals, there was dinosaurs. Dinosaurs were reptile. So even though they were extinct, who's to say the reptilians become reptilian human-like? I mean, that's always been my thing.
Or hybrid.
A hybrid, right, to where they became, human-like but reptilians. So who knows? I mean,
I'm open to the conversations, right?
Like we do what we do because we want to find out these answers. We travel, we try to find evidence, even if it's elusive.
Yeah, and I mean, when we went out west for 4 months straight, I mean, the whole reason why we were doing that was to investigate and research portals and other dimensions. We were thinking that, portals could exist in these small mountain towns because you got mountains on both sides and, like something in between. Yeah. We were doing a lot of investigating on that. So,
and that's the best part, that you could come up with a theory and then test it out and investigate it on your own terms, right? Ed is just
I'm gonna answer Ed's question. Ed, so based upon evolution, if you believe in evolution or the biblical theory of Adam and Eve, well, if we go back on evolution, man broke off. So man went this way. Homo sapien went this way. Chimpanzee. So you had apes, monkeys. So you had a branch where man broke off. So no, I don't believe that reptilian people were birds. I think birds are a branch of the reptilian evolution.
Oh.
So.
There you go. Let's see.
Oh, I see somebody talking about the Wendigo. Man, we were supposed to get up to Minnesota.
Yeah, we still, well, we're not going to talk about that because we're probably going to still video
yeah. Yeah. Wendigos. Yeah. We've done our homework on Wendigos. We actually have an area that we want to we want to investigate up north.
Is that part of the documentary that you're wanting to do?
That's a different.
Yeah, this is going to be different. This is going to be more maybe further down the line, a year from now, 2 years from now. But we want to focus. There's going to be a time, not soon, but there's going to be a time where we're just going to focus on cryptids, Dogman, Wendigo, Mothman, things like that.
Mothman I'm down for Mothman too. Super interested in.
Yeah, we go through our little changes. So before, we don't get burnt out in anything. Like right now we're doing paranormal. We're mainly focused on paranormal. March and April, we're just doing Bigfoot. And then we're going back to the paranormal in May and June and July.
July's a big one.
And then after that, we're going back to Texas and doing the Bigfooting again.
We're going to Big Bend National Park.
Definitely all over the board.
Yeah, we're kind of all over this year.
But that's awesome, and it kind of balances it out too. Like, because you do get physically exhausted, those psychic hangovers, and you need that redirect and fill your cup up in a different way so that you're okay with the other things as well too.
Yeah, because we're both nature lovers too. Yeah, we love nature, so we just like to get out in nature. And like we love national parks, we love national forests, we love wildlife loops where we can go see different kinds of wildlife.
And to comment on that, we're realists. We know we're not going to be able to do this forever, so we're trying to do as much as we can in the time that we have.
Because we understand life is short. I mean, you can be taken out at any time. So like, just live your best life. You've got to do what you want to do. Like you were saying earlier, you felt like you're sometimes selfish, but you got to be selfish sometimes because this is your only life unless you get recycled and reincarnated.
We'll just do that shout out for you, Daniel. So Spirit Medium Daniel I talk about all of these things on my podcast, Beyond the Veil, with Daniel Jackson, audio and video.
Very cool.
We'll definitely check that out.
And Casey, have you guys? I haven't either. Allegedly created a portal and traveled into the future.
Would be interested to see that.
I would too. That's definitely interesting.
We'll have to write that name down and check it out.
Yeah.
We try and keep up with a lot of stuff. I mean, we do a lot of research. I mean, we have people tell us all the time, "Well, you came prepared." Well, yeah, we do our homework before we investigate or we go anywhere.
I think for me, I try to not know. Like when I'm going to locations, I need to not know so that I can go in blind and see what I'm getting, and then have other people do research.
History. I like the history, but I don't want to know the names. I want to know, what was here, but don't tell me any names. If I could pick those names up.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He don't want to know too much. Where I'll know it all, like I'll be looking through newspaper.com, ancestry.com. I'll know everything there is to know before I walk into a location, So he's the opposite. So we even ask the owners, whenever they're doing their interview or their tour with us, don't tell Paul anything because he likes to pick up on stuff, and tries to test his abilities.
Yeah, I like to see what I pick up on my own. But yeah, I'm familiar with Coast to Coast AM. I have to check that out.
Yeah, I've heard Coast to Coast too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have to be respectful of spirit for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely,
Even and people say, "Oh, it's demonic" or this and that. No, it could have been just an old ornery sucker when he was alive, and he's old and ornery when he's dead. It doesn't mean that it's a demon. It just means that he's just not happy.
We do demons do exist.
Right.
We do believe that there is evil out there. I mean, but for instance, like when we went to the Abbey in Colorado and what is it, Canyon City, he had saw something. You could tell that's
Sure. So we were doing an investigation at the old Abbey. It's in Canyon City, Colorado. It was sanctioned by the Vatican. It was actually built in the late 1800s, and it was as the seal of Saint Benedict. It was reported that some exorcisms were done there, and being that the seal of Saint Benedict is on the building, that whatever's in there stays in there, not leave. So even if you go in there and the attachment attaches to you, once you walk out those doors, that demonic being or whatever attached to you can go in and stay there. So that's just to fill you in on a little backstory. So we were down in the basement, and it was myself, a lady named
we were actually going
Adrian,
down the stairs.
Right, we were going down the stairs. I was first because I was it's dark down here, but I'm the man. I'm because it was nothing but women. We had 3 women with me. So I'm like, I'm gonna be the big tough guy.
Right.
So I walked down in the dark, and I walked through what appeared to be a smell of sulfur. Well, the lady behind me says, "Do you smell that? It just smells of sulfur." And then when I turned around, now I'm at a T. There's a hallway this way, ahead of me and behind me. So I'm at a T. I'm at a cross, in the middle of the cross. And when I turned with my flashlight, one of the doors was open in the hallway, and hanging over this door was a figure. The best way I can explain it is that I looked up pictures on the internet. Is a rake. It looked like a rake. It was gangly, smooth skin, big black eyes. To me, it felt like minutes, but I knew it was only seconds.
Right.
I saw it, and it flew off the back of the door. And I froze, and I turned and I said, "That's it, I'm done," because I didn't know where this thing was going to go. I didn't see it anymore. So I run past her going up the stairs, and she goes, "Where are you going?" I said, "I know what I saw. I'm not going down there." So that was, but I'm not saying it was demonic. I'm not saying it didn't harm me. Did I feel threatened? Kind of, because it shocked me. When you're shocked, you in that moment of shock, you do feel threatened.
And so me and the 3 girls, the other 2 girls went down there, and it was so strong. The smell of sulfur was so strong. Like, so.
And if you don't have the tools or know how to deal with that,
right,
then safety is an issue, right?
Yeah. So we'll definitely get back there one day. We he definitely wants to face his
face my fear.
It's
not really a fear; it's more out of curiosity.
We packed it up and we ended up leaving like after
one of the girls left the same night because we had to stay over. They had a place there where we could stay, and one of the girls says, "No, I'm not even going to stay here. We're leaving."
But I mean, going back a second time, you are a little more prepared for what you're going into. So understanding different tools.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to go in there like it's a demon, though. Like even though we smelled sulfur and it looked like a ring, we're going to go in there because it might be an entity that's stuck there that just wants to share its story. So we're going to go in there with love and compassion, and if it tries to tear us up, as long as we got the camera rolling, we're good.
Yeah. That's so funny. There's a location that I have investigated a number of times, and there is a crotchety dude in there that starts saying demon when there's new people, just because he doesn't want the company. He doesn't want people there, and people hear demon and they go. And we know that he's just saying it because he's grumpy, like he's legit miserable, and so he's doesn't want us there. So approaching it. So Ed is asking a question. Sorry, we're just gonna come to some of these questions or catch up a little bit with some comments as well too. Question time. Do you all feel more dimensional activity is taking place? And are we mistaking a lot of paranormal for ufology and vice versa.
That's a good question.
I wouldn't say ufology, but yeah, alien.
Alien?
Yeah, interdimensional aliens. Absolutely. I say that all the time. How do you know? Like, I don't have abilities to see spirits like you do. So you know 100% who you're talking to. Me, I'm taking a guess, like, so I always tell Paul, okay, well, let's redirect. Let's change it from, did you die? And, like, what dimension are you from? Like, what are you? Can you tell us what you are? Going into that line of questioning, because we might be talking to interdimensional aliens and not paranormal at all. I mean, our spirits at all.
Right. And there are. I mean, you have different realms. There is, if you believe in string theory. I mean, I'm more of like the science-based guy. So, you either believe in the Big Bang Theory, you believe in string theory. So if you believe in string theory, all of the universes are stacked on top of each other. And it's constantly moving. And sometimes the universes touch. So who's to say the beings in that universe aren't crossing over through that plane, just for that glimpse, for that second. So yeah, I mean, I do believe it's possible. I do believe that, it's interdimensional beings coming over and are being mistaken for spirits in some cases. Yeah.
I mean, I do believe that spirits, do walk the earth too, from the spirit realm, but I do believe there's other realms out there that, are just interdimensional aliens. I think shadow men, they come from their own realm. I think it's a void of light because we can't see that, their true shape, so you have shadow figures, you have creepers, you have the man in a hat, they're all shadow people, that could be from their own realm, and they're just void of this light that we can see. It's a type of light we can't see, so we only make out their shadows.
Yeah.
And it's darker than dark. Like, people who have not seen a shadow figure may not understand, like, you are in a dark black room and you are still seeing something that's even darker.
Yeah. And I find that a lot of the shadows that are in your bedroom, they're watching you, and they're watchers, like people say they're demons. I was like, I don't think they're demons. They're just watching. But then to bring back to whenever I was investigating prior to Paul with my ex-husband, one of the reasons why we didn't get along with the paranormal is because I went to an investigation one night, and then when we did a cleansing of the house, and this is one of the reasons why I don't do people's houses, because obviously I blotched it. I cleansed the house. It came home with me. It came home with the other investigator that was with me, and so my ex-husband had another episode. Well, at this point, we weren't getting along. So, like, he started gasping for air whenever, like, in his sleep. So I just elbowed him real hard. I was like, lay on your side, and I went back to sleep. Well, he told me the next day that something was choking him. He said that dark figure was choking him. So I don't know. I don't know if they are just watchers or they are something bad, but.
And different things. So, Daniel, I'm just going to read your comment. I know I'm commenting a lot, but nice to know there are others going in with the correct understanding. And it's okay, encouraging the comments. I'm doing my best to keep up and not interrupt. And sometimes I don't do that balance very well. But please know that we are we'll at least showcase the comment up so that people can see them. And I will.
We appreciate it. And we appreciate the interaction. And you got some great comments, great questions.
Yeah, definitely great.
Yeah, please bring it on. Yeah, exactly. So he's just, Daniel is Spirit Medium Daniel is commenting again, you cannot make anything leave that doesn't want to.
That's exactly what I was saying before, like you can burn that sage, but I mean, once you break that energy up and that energy comes back, it's going to be mad at you.
Yeah, I've had really... not nice comments come back at me saying that maybe I don't play nice in the sandbox because I've said, like, how I will not tell somebody that I can cleanse their house and get rid of something because it's a rabbit hole that I don't know for sure because somebody else can go in. I've been in a location where somebody has a medium has gone in and said that she's cleared it and there's nothing there. And I walk in and I'm still seeing, and
Exactly. Or you
I
could
got
feel
something there. So I just feel there's so much that we don't understand and we don't know about that. I will never say that I'm an expert in any of it, because I feel like it's Christmas morning, or wonder what's going to happen today. Like there's something new all the time to learn.
Yeah, I mean, and then the more you look into it, it seems like, it's like a rabbit hole. You just keep getting more and more and more.
Yeah, exactly. Donna Jean is just saying, I'm too busy listening to remember to comment. That's okay. And we had one experience at my home when my oldest son, who's like 30 now, and he was 16, that was definitely affecting him. And I went in guns a-blazing thinking that it was just me, and not remembering that I have all my ancestors and divine team and those people supporting me from the other side as well too. And I think that's a big part that we need to remember, like when we're doing these experiences, when we go into a location or a place, we're bringing all our people in spirit with us as well too. And that can also affect a location, right? But that being definitely was interdimensional, because it growled at me and scratched, and I had to leave and regroup and go back in with a different perspective and moving it out, because it was not it was something else. Hi Denise, we're glad that you got here. Thank you very much,
Daniel.
Have a good night.
Yep.
Can we talk about Grumpy Miles, Montana?
Sure.
You want to tell him?
Grumpy Miles, Montana. That would be me. No. so that was our children's book. Angela came up with.
We actually made it for the grandkids though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Is it Miles and the Little Fairy, or Miles and the Fairy?
In the Little Fairy.
In the Little Fairy.
Yeah, it's to teach a lesson of all you need is friends. That's basically it. That you don't have to be grumpy.
It's about keeping your attitude in check, you know, because like what you bring to the table is what you're going to get in return. You act like a jerk to people, they're going to act like a jerk back. It works in the paranormal field too. You act like a jerk to the spirits, they're going to be a jerk to your back. Mm-hmm. But same thing with Bigfoot. He goes acting like a jerk to people, and people going to be a jerk to
him. And that's Miles Montana. He's a Bigfoot.
Yeah, he's a Bigfoot.
Don't know. And we have that book on Amazon.
It is.
If you want to check it out, but it's Miles Montana and the Little Fairy.
A good friend of mine, I've been friends with her for about 25 years now. She's an artist, and she did all the illustrations. So it's Art by Leanna. You can find her on Facebook. She did a fantastic job.
And if you go to, I know that we have it scrolling on the bottom, but for the listeners, because we do have a large audio component to this as well too. A lot of people listening audio afterwards. So it's enigmaticexplorers.com, and you've got all kinds of books that help support your adventures that you guys have. So, encouraging everybody to go check it out. You link to Amazon from your website as well too, so they can see all of the different. You have log books. Can you talk about the other things that you've got on the site for people?
Yeah, so we have log books for Bigfooting, which is for field guides. Like where you can mark down times you hear stuff. It's very important to keep notes. We don't do it as much anymore because we're constantly recording everything that we do. So that's kind of our timestamps. We make sure all of our times match, and we're very precise on that. But we used to write it all down. So for people that aren't recording in many different areas, it's important to write the time down that you heard the bump, and if everybody's doing that, then you're going to have consistency, especially with people that have team members of 10 or more, if you have a bunch of people in there and somebody sneezes and somebody's doing an EVP downstairs, they're going to think that they just got the most coolest EVP ever. So it's important to write down, especially with big groups. Usually it's Paul and me and maybe one other couple usually. But we have got, like the last one we went on was a big group. We didn't even do any audio or any evidence review because it's just too contaminated. It's just, I mean.
So you have to, do you go in with a different intention then when you know that it's that big of a group? Like you go just to have the experience of community and not necessarily the focus of getting evidence?
It's more of a unity. It's more of sharing our experiences, showing how we investigate. Which we try to pass on the way we investigate compared to what you see on the Travel Channel. It's not all about the jumping and the scaring. It's about the respect, the patience, the sitting there. You go hunting. If you go hunting, you're not jumping all around the woods looking for a deer. You're sitting there very quiet. It's the same principle. You sit there, be respectful.
And you can go that whole deer trip the whole weekend without catching any deer at all. I'm not shooting a deer.
And it doesn't always have to be 3:00 in the morning. You can have interactions during the day too. It doesn't have to necessarily have to be at nighttime.
We just investigated. We found the hottest times between 8 and 11.
Yep.
And
it's like a residual closing time
in the morning or 8 and 11 at night.
In the evening. It was in the evening, 8 to 11 in the evening. So it was like, spirits are active. We find at a certain time, especially residuals. So if you go to a place that had hours, and it's like at that time back then, if that place closed, then the activity is going to stop, especially if it's residual.
If it's residual, yeah. I mean, especially like if you go to a place and somebody cooked dinner at the same time every day, you might hear that pots and pans hitting.
So you might catch a whiff of food or,
from residual energy, at that certain point. So if they cooked at 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, that's what time you're going to probably smell it.
Yeah.
They collect in the parlor room at 6 o'clock, so at 6 o'clock you might catch that whiff of cigar smoke,
Oh, yeah. I like it when cigars come in, actually. I like the smell of that, and pipes, anything like that. Even sweet, like cherry tobacco, when those smells come in, it's, I don't know. If it's one of those memories for me that's connected to family as well, too. So there's some sort of comfort level in it, right? If anybody is just joining us now, thank you so much for being a part of this. You are listening to Spirit Switchboard. I am your host, Kerrilynn Shellhorn, and you are listening to us live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 and 107.7 New Orleans. So thank you guys. We have Paul and Angie, the Enigmatic Explorers. I was so worried I was going to mess up Enigmatic. I was like practicing saying it today.
Like the name, and she tells me all the time, she goes, "Why did you have to come up with such a hard name to pronounce?" Because
everybody blotches it.
Right, everybody blotches it, so it's okay. I mean, hey.
Oh no, I get a gold star sticker today, man. I said it right.
You did great.
In fact, when you first said it, I was like, "There she goes."
Yes, she goes. Yeah,
first person.
First. No, you're not the first person, but you did very well.
It was more the spelling. When I was typing it out for the website and doing the promos, I was making sure I was saying it out loud as I was typing it, so I didn't spell it wrong either, right? But I think it's a great name, and it suits you. It really does. It's great, and it's hard coming up with names. It's hard.
Or how do you say acronyms or everybody can say, "Oh, you're the mysterious explorers." But I wanted to be a little brainy, I said, "Well, what's the same thing as mysterious?" That's so I did enigmatic,
and we do it also. It's perfect. We do the the cryptid,
anything mysterious,
portals,
high strangeness. Anything high strangeness, right?
Yeah, anything unusual. Even like Crater Lake, just because it's made from an android. I'm curious about an asteroid. I'm sorry, what did I say?
Android. Or 2D2.
And like things like that. I want to jump in that water because it's supposed to be like kind of prohibited. You're not supposed to go in the water according to the Indian legends over there because of so many deaths being in there.
All right, Crater Lake's in Oregon.
It's in Oregon.
Yeah, for those that don't know. Yeah.
So that was
thank you. There was another lake that I was looking at, and I was trying to find somebody to come on to talk about it. And now I'm having a brain fog and I can't remember. But I'm like you. You hear these like obscure stories, and you just want to know more, right?
Yeah, I mean, I love hearing the story, like hearing the story, like why we do history and hauntings, because we love the history. But I mean, I dig in deep, I want to find out like what this person was like, who am I talking to? Who am I trying to communicate with, and
right.
it just makes it, all that more special when you're in their home, you're sitting where they probably sat 100 years ago, or long than 100 and something years, 140 ago at the Victorian.
Michelle is just asking, she says, fun question, what would be your calling card if you were to haunt a place? So how would you come through? So you pass away.
You blow my ear?
I just blow in the ear.
How would you do that?
That's my haunting calling card. I would just blow in the ear. Let's go.
So you want to see the same reaction, like the small clip of you getting your ear touched?
That's it. I just want that. Oh, what was it? Was that the air conditioner, or was that actually somebody blowing in my ear?
I'd probably be more dramatic, like moving stuff and slamming stuff.
Yeah, mine's more subtle.
Yeah, he'd be more subtle than me. I'd probably like try to get a rise out of everybody. But I mean, I would hope that I'd be on the other side trying to help teach what we really are. you know?
Yeah,
like there have to have spirits out there that wants to. I mean, unless there's some kind of rule book that says it can't, like.
I just want to have fun. I just want to.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. Just.
But I think that
honestly, I don't want to be stuck. So hopefully, I get recycled.
So do you? See, I don't know about the recycling. I don't know where I don't know where I don't know. I don't know.
Another.
No, I don't know if I'd want to come back around. I'd be willing to help.
End, like why would I want it to end? Like this life is gonna end. I mean, from the minute we're born, our bodies start dying.
Yeah.
We're not gonna live forever. Everybody dies. But like to know that possibly I'm gonna be reincarnated and do it all over and have a whole new adventure with a whole new family and a new husband and new kids. It's exciting. It's like
no, it sounds exhausting.
Yeah, I mean, but you just gotta grab the concept that you gotta live your best life. You gotta do things
while you're here.
You have to. If you're not living your best life, then you're wasting your life. You can't work all the time, and you gotta live. You gotta enjoy it. You gotta get off the couch. You can't just watch TV.
You need more than 2 weeks vacation a year.
Yeah, definitely.
Agreed. And kiddo that moves to places that gives you an opportunity to explore your passions at the same time too. So, that's I think, Michelle, if I was to answer that question, I think because everybody talks about or comments about my laugh and giggle, I'd probably be the one that it sounds like a laugh coming from like another floor in the house. And then you should the same place as the grumpy dude where somebody will whistle. If you whistle, they'll whistle back, but they whistle from a different floor. So then when you go down to that floor and you do it again, they'll whistle from above. So I think that they just have fun watching us hiking back and forth, right?
Yes,
that'll be me. Making everybody run around. But you're right.
Another thing I've noticed is like residual energy doesn't just come from the deceased. Us living people, like people tell me all the time, I think I have a mimic in the house because I heard my daughter's voice and she's not even here. I'm like, well, does your daughter have a lot of energy? Because she could be expelling that energy being alive, and
telekinesis is something that people have a hard time talking about. They don't necessarily, I think people want it to be the demon or they want it to be, it's hard for people to have accountability of some of the activity that happens in their own house.
Mm-hmm.
I
don't know if you've had that experience or,
Yeah, my mother's like this. Like when my mother comes over, or I used to live in another life, she'd come over and that energy would be there. And it was her energy, you could hear her voice, even though she was sleeping, you know, that kind of residual energy of her, because she's just a strong energy. She has such a strong energy.
Well, I know a friend has I mean, he's older now, but Alaska in the winter, and that little guy could manifest sand in his bath water because he wanted to be at the beach.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
we are much more powerful than people want to take credit for, right? Like we are powerful beings.
Yeah, we don't even know our limits because if we could open up to full capacity, there ain't no telling what we could do.
Right.
That's right. Gar's just asking, do you think that you have a past life? And he's saying he dreams of his.
I believe in reincarnation, so I do believe, yes, that people do have past lives. I don't remember any of mine, so I have no experiences. I don't have any connections. I do feel a connection to witchcraft, but I don't feel any connection to Salem, where a lot of witches say, oh, I got this strong connection to Salem. I don't have that, but I do have a strong connection to Irish witchcraft. So maybe my ancestors are, you know, a lot of Irish ancestors. So maybe that's why, because I didn't have that, you know, that heritage or that line where, you know, they were treated poorly. Instead, in Ireland, they were treated with much more respect, and, you know, people took care of witches up there, you know.
I don't too much believe in past lives. I believe in the multi-universe theory that there's infinite us's. So you have dreams of places you've never been, people you don't know. I believe you're tapping into that other person in another universe.
Maybe when those worlds are touching.
When those worlds are touching, you're tapping into their memory, or you're tapping into something. Because I've had a lot of those where, you know, I'm at a place I've never been, or I'm talking to somebody I've never met, and but as far as past lives go, I mean, it's possible. I don't rule it out. I'm open-minded when it comes to it. I don't know. There's only one way I'm going to find out, right? So,
and I always, I don't discount it. I just say, you know, if there was a past life, I will assume that I have been it all. I have been nasty and good, and I've been male and female, and I've been a mom, a dad. I just figure I've been it all. Because I watch people focus on past lives so much that they're not present in this moment. They're so caught up in, you know, this story that might explain why they have a passion about something here instead of just flowing with the passion that they have here. So I just like kind of, it is what it is in this moment. And okay, now I'm taking a breath and now I'm on to the next moment. Like, this is how far I want to go, you know?
Yeah. And then also with that, I believe, like Paul was saying earlier, you know, like your genes have a huge part of that too. Because like I said, I never grew up with my dad until after my divorce. And then when I moved in with my dad, I find out I'm exactly like that man. Like, our brains are just like same on sync, and never grew up with him. But yet I'm probably, out of all 4 of his kids, I'm five of his kids. Sorry, forgot a brother. But out of all of the kids, I'm probably the closest like him, you know, on the you know, interest in different levels of paranormal and hike. I mean, all my brothers hike, but like just being into nature and everything.
Contessa is just asking, what about experience a lot of deja vu? Do you have that on locations? You guys have been all over the place. Have you ever had a deja vu moment on a location?
Yeah, there's some places we've been. It's kind of like, I've been here before. I know when we went to Deadwood, South Dakota, it felt like when we were at the campsite, and I just looked around. I'm like, man, I just got deja vu. I remember the scenery. So there is times, I remember having deja vu.
Yeah, and I've gotten deja vu a couple of times, but I'm thinking it's just like a brain glitch. I'm not really sure, to be honest.
And that can go back to like my theory of the multiverse, where, you know, there's a you in another universe that was there, say, the day before.
Yeah, and then when you get it, it's like, man, I really feel like I just said that before. You know, like we just had that same, and it feels really strong. So
yeah,
I don't know, but it could just be a brain glitch. I mean, our brains do weird things.
I had that in Tupelo, Mississippi. Really? Of all places. I know. Weird, right? So I'm like, I don't know, I was in my early 40s, and it was the first time I was like really leaving Canada and going into the States. And I went to Tupelo, Mississippi, and it felt like home. Like there was weirdness in weird places through Mississippi that felt like home to me. It was weird. I was very sad when I was leaving Mississippi to come back here. And I didn't even tell my family. I got in the car, I went down to meet people. I drove 16 hours by myself and then told my family that I was in Mississippi. But there was just something. There was something, right?
Yeah. I mean, and that could, yeah.
That deja vu feeling is can be very intense for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, because it definitely feels like it's something you already did. It's very strong. Mm-hmm. But no, I've never gotten it. Like I've never walked into a place and I've never felt like I've had a past life catch up on me. I've never had that feeling, so maybe, maybe I'm just not from here, or my, like none of my spirit. Maybe I'm new to America. I don't know. So it just, nothing seems familiar to me, not in that sense, but I have had deja vu, like saying stuff.
Right. So maybe there is a little more to that theory of multi-universes layered on top of each other.
We all share one consciousness.
The reason why I'm like really strong on
I believe that too, though. Yeah. I believe that, we're all part of that bigger collective consciousness, and we're contributing constantly, right? So being mindful of what we're contributing to.
Right.
Yeah.
Are we contributing in a positive way or in a negative way? So, I've taught my kids, so when you're spewing shite, you got to clear, cancel, and delete that. Roll it back in. Do you really want that out there?
Right. Don't put it out there.
Clear, cancel, and delete that.
Yeah.
Where are you guys? The Patreon. That was something I'd like you guys to talk about as well too. Is that something that
Patreon? No, we deleted the Patreon because
it's not part of. Oh.
Yeah, we just, because we put everything that we find out there, so there's like nothing really left to add, so we share everything.
Yeah, we
now we might open it back up, but I mean, honestly, like there's no reason to have different, like having people pay to see our stuff. So that, I mean, we just do it because we love it.
Okay. Not that I still don't think that you are fabulous people, but today when I was reading through the website and I was scrolling around, I'm like, on a Patreon, oh my God, these guys are fabulous. I don't know how they have time to do all of this shit. And I'm like, okay, now you're like regular normal people.
Yeah, they're normal. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I'm normally doing. I'm like, because it's time consuming just what we do on a regular basis, and adding all those extra streaming places and supporting people and what they expect once they get to all those different platforms is a lot. It's a lot.
Yes, because I mean, on Patreon, you got to show them something different for them to pay money for it. And when I really didn't have anything different, I was just sharing everything already. I've always liked editing. I always wanted to produce movies, and I shared this online not too long ago, but I used to make my kids be the little actors, and used to dress like one we did Little Red Riding Hood, and my middle daughter was the big bad wolf, so we did full wolf mask with the prosthetics, and my daughter played the part of the granny, my oldest daughter, and then my baby played Little Red Riding Hood. My son was the woodsman. So I used them as little actors, and then they got too old, and it just they're like, Mom, I don't want to do this. It's not cool no more. So, it's not recording no more.
Excuse me. But all of that stuff still contributed to what you're doing now, right?
Yeah, well, it's I'm picking it back up now, and that's with the History and Hauntings. I'm going back to editing, which I really enjoy to do. I mean, I'll never get famous on it because of the fact that I'm not an expert editor, but I have fun doing it. I enjoy it.
So maybe you need to start clearing, canceling, and deleting that shit too when you're saying I'm never going to be famous doing that, because it's your personality. People are drawn. I was drawn to you guys immediately and knew that I wanted to have this conversation, have you on the show, just the energy between the two of you, the energy that you bring to the locations, how you interact with spirits and the people, that's what drew me to you. So more and more people are going to be drawn to you that way. So you don't know what's going to happen next. I would just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to keep doing. Okay, I should say my goal is not to become famous.
Yeah.
I'm going to just keep enjoying my best life.
That's it.
And you're open to whatever comes.
Yeah, like if you don't like what I put out, don't watch it. But I'm going to do it because I enjoy it.
Yeah. And I think that when we approach any of those things that we do with authenticity and integrity, it can be felt, and then the right people are going to come to us, and the squawkers are irritated for their own reason, and they can just go where they need to go.
Yeah, well, we do it because we enjoy sharing stuff. We enjoy sharing our experience. Like when we went out west, we were posting pictures on Facebook of the buffalo and the donkeys and the antelopes and the mountains. We shared it because we want to share. We want people to experience what we experience. Yeah. And the best way to do that is through film and pictures.
Yeah.
And for people like me, that I've never seen, buffalo, and you're part of the country, that you guys are opening it up so that people from all over can see it is fabulous. Yeah, were you in Florida? Didn't you just
we were in Florida with the manatees. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we went to Florida a couple weeks ago.
3 weeks ago? Yeah, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I was watching your travel posts. That was that was a long journey.
The whole time we went out west, like the 4 months we were camping, we documented everything. And then I got hacked on Facebook. I fell for one of those little text scams or whatever. Got hacked on Facebook. Facebook deleted my account, so I lost all those pictures, like everything. Like
it was heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking because that was our whole trip, and I only documented it there. So I was like, man, we just lost all of our projects, all of our research, like that I shared.
That's gutting.
20 years, because I was on Facebook for 20 years under that account. 20 years of my kids growing up, I lost it all. So yeah, it killed me.
So did you bring some witchy voodoo to that scenario so that karma energy goes back to where? Because I would have gotten a jar right away. You mess around, let's send some energy back at you.
Yeah, there was definitely some of that. But with that, I was just kind of like, what did I even do? Because at that point, I didn't even know what I did wrong. Like, I don't know how I got hacked until, like, I had started a new Facebook and I read somebody's post and they're like, hey, watch out for this scam. I was like, oh, that's the one I fell for.
Yeah, it's hard lessons.
I'm not trying to flip my own boat, but I'm pretty intelligent. So for me to fall for it, I'm just embarrassed. It's embarrassing. So
hats off to whoever did
it. Yeah, because I'm very computer literate. Like it's not like they got somebody that was just not knowing what they're doing. I know better. They got me. Yeah. So be careful out there. They're good at what they're doing.
I want to go back to Bigfoot again. Bigfoot is everything for me. I have like Bigfoot keychain, and I had this for the longest time. It was like this little air freshener in my car. But it was a Sasquatch. So I would hold it up over like the road signs from the car, and I would just take traveling pictures with my Sasquatch everywhere that I went as well too. Are there places, I guess, well, there's so many places to go, but are there places top on your list besides where your son is moving to that you haven't been to yet that you would like to check out?
We want to go to Minnesota.
Minnesota's a big place. Northern California to Olympia National Park or State Park.
Yeah. Olympia is the one in Washington.
Yeah, but it runs through Northern California too.
And then we want to hit all the nationals, and like you were saying. I want to go to Sedona. I want to go, meditate on the rocks.
Yeah, our next big.
I want to go to Montana, and I want to go to the Montana Vortex over there.
Tell me about the Montana Vortex. I don't know about that.
It's one of you. There's a couple of. I know there's one in California, but in Montana, it's a little area where things just are off balance. So it should roll down, but it rolls up. Those kind of rooms. And I don't want to blotch his name, but I know his name's Joe, and him and his wife Tammy own it, and they were inviting us to go, and we actually got we had jobs lined up, and we were going to move there, but we ended up moving to Colorado for a year instead.
Yeah, so the Ozarks are a big spot for us.
When we go do our filming, the next 2 months is going to be in the Ozarks in Arkansas.
There's a lot of Bigfoot sightings along the border of
by the
Oklahoma,
Buffalo River.
Along the Buffalo River, but going toward the border of Arkansas and Oklahoma. There's been a lot of sightings lately. So.
Right. I was just saying HOH Forest in Northwest.
Yeah.
Donna G's asking, does he prefer Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yeti?
Based on the reading. So Bigfoot's the United States, of course. Sasquatch is Canada. Yeti is the Asian, the East. Just like Australia has their own version.
But I mean, not everybody believes that. That's what we believe. Like, if you ask my dad that same question, my dad would say, no, a Sasquatch is very different than a Bigfoot. A Sasquatch is bigger and it's meaner, where a Bigfoot is more of a softer.
And I saw this episode. It was actually years ago. This episode aired on the Travel Channel, I believe, where it was a lady who lived in Oklahoma, had a resident Sasquatch. And it would come to her house and she'd feed it. So I'm familiar with this case.
So Kason Lee is just commenting for those who are listening to us audibly later. There was a lady who befriended a Sasquatch Bigfoot. Can't remember her name. Also got to know about that on the Art Bell show.
Yeah, and there's a lot of big community out there that believes that the Bigfoot are forest people, like and the more you get to know them, the more they'll get closer to you, and they do offerings, and they have a very close relationship with these Bigfoots, I mean, but then you got people like my dad who are saying, no, they're scary monsters that want to eat you, so you got two different sides to it. I know when we went up to Kentucky with Squash Man, and Indiana with Squash Man, it was he was introducing us to the forest people, and like you could hear him, you can hear
they were all around us, and they interacted as far as like hitting trees, throwing acorns.
Do you guys whoop back? And is there a specific screech sound that happens consistently before sound? Like, have you noticed any sort of consistent sounds?
The sound that you hear, it's like a howl. It's more like how can I explain it? The ones we've heard, if you watch like nature channels, you hear the howler monkey. I don't know if you know what a howler monkey sounds like. It's more along a call like that. It's definitely primate. So when you listen to like gorillas, chimpanzees, but I guess the closest I would say would be like a howler monkey. It's just a loud howl. It's like
but then it's a deep, like it ends on a deeper note.
Right.
But, and is there a response, or is it just one? Have you guys heard or captured?
We just heard the one.
And the tree knocks. Now, when deers hit their antlers on a tree, it sounds like a big boom. And I think a lot. At first, I was like, well, no, they're just hearing the. Anybody that goes out and does a lot of, exploring in the woods, you'll hear that a lot. But when you actually hear a tree knock, it's really loud.
Yeah, so
it's like a screaming howl.
It's like a screaming howl, right? So what she's explaining is like when you hear, they call it a rattle. So when you hear deer during the rut, they'll go and they'll hit their antlers up against the tree to mark a tree, and it's a rattle. You hear it's a rattle. It's the best way to explain it, like a baby's rattle. It's like
right.
When it's a knocking on a tree, it's hollow to hollow. You ever take something like a hollow piece of wood or two hollow pieces of wood and knock it together and echo? That's the sound of the knocking.
Do you make sure that people know where you're at before you go? This is kind of
but
you're as bad as me.
we give them a general vicinity. We'll be in Wyoming.
Yeah, sometimes we don't even know where we're gonna be,
Right.
like until we're there. So I mean,
Right.
it doesn't no good to tell somebody because we're probably gonna be somewhere else anyway.
Right. But
like
that's part of the adventure. And I suppose
Oh,
if
yeah,
you guys have each other and you have some sort of protocol if things go sideways, I'm assuming, right?
Right.
Mm.
Well,
Yeah, we got a lot of camping gear, so we can survive for a little while.
Sure, we can survive
That's
for a while.
awesome.
We have to bring first aid kits, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, we know how to
hunt.
we know how to just pack mud on a cut. You know, I mean, I've gassed my foot open, and she tells me, "No, just
Rub a little
dirt in it."
Right. My grandpa used to say old trappers never die, they just smell like it. Just like that was his like saying, right? And it is very different. Like being in the woods is I don't know, a sense of freedom to it.
Yes.
There's just some freedom to it. Whether you have the experience or not, it's grounding and centers you. And I really do believe that you have a stronger understanding of what's meaningful, what's important in life when you take that time to spend in nature that way.
Meditating in nature is the best way to do it. You just get one with nature, and it's amazing. I don't understand all these city folks that oh my God, there's bugs. Oh, I don't understand it because that's not how my mind works. My mind is all for nature, 100%. I mean, right now we're on 5 acres in the middle of nowhere
in a swamp.
That's where we're living right now. And I don't miss the city at all. I grew up, right outside of New Orleans.
You're getting an invitation.
There we go.
There we go.
Come to Northeast Washington State.
Good. Yeah, contact us. We'll make it happen. We'll be up in Washington this year, so we'll make it happen.
I don't think. Do you want to do a shout out where they can find you?
Sure.
Our website is enigmaticexplorers.com. You can find anything, our Facebook, our TikTok, our YouTube, our email, everything's on that website. You just go to the contact us page. It's our email, and it also has all of our website, our different.
So we have 4 different Facebook accounts. We have mine, which is Paul Johnston. We have Angela Johnston. Then we have Haunted History.
We have History and Hauntings, and then we have Enigmatic Explorers page.
Right.
Yeah. So you guys are
all 4. Give all 4 a follow.
Yes, exactly. Like, subscribe, follow. Caring is sharing. So share out the videos as well too.
Definitely subscribe to our YouTube page. We're putting out a lot of content.
Yeah.
And like I said, we love to share. We like to hear back. We like the comments. We like the likes. Not so much the dislikes, but we do like the likes.
Yeah. We shared those manatees, and like 3 people dislike. I say, how you dislike a fish? Like, bring them up.
Again, it's the grumpy. You just don't know if somebody's having a bad day. So Enigmatic, if you watch the little ticker along the bottom of the video, it's there.
ENIGMATIC. So you close.
Close, is it spelled wrong?
No, he's got Enigmatic.
Oh, how do you spell after you? I didn't see that question.
Yeah. Enigmatic.
Yeah, give us a follow.
I had Jeff Belanger on the show, and same thing. I was practicing saying his name, and then I said it like a good Canadian, Belanger, as soon as he got on. And so, like, I think it's just one of those things. You have to roll with it and be okay. Enigmatic, I did good today. Enigmatic, I did well. Well, this was a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for hanging out.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us on.
Mm-hmm.
I will share the links with you guys as well too, if you're wanting to, post that anywhere as well. Thank you very much, everybody that was hanging out in the chat and asking questions and being part of the conversation. We appreciate you very much. If you guys want to hang out. The show coming up next with United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network is with Jeffrey Pritchett, our host of Church of Babus. He'll be coming on next. And next week, I'm going to be having Julie Krause. She is a spiritual advisor. She's been connecting with the other side since she was a little girl, and we'll be talking about our natural intuitive abilities and finding community to support that. So thank you so much to United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 and 107.7 New Orleans. Thank you so much, guys, for being here.
Thank you.
Take care. Have a good night, everyone.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.